Me.
Final countdown. This is where it gets fun. This is where I come alive.
A lot to say. We're just ready to show up, and Jake's in good shape. His mind is very locked in and focused for this. So, we're all looking forward to it. So,
Jake Paul is deep in a demanding heavyweight training camp in Miami as he prepares for his December 19th showdown with Anthony Joshua. He's brought in elite sparring partners to mirror Joshua's size and power, while grinding daily with world-class coaches. His routine now includes specialized therapists and cutting-edge performance tools to sharpen strength, speed, and tactical accuracy. Every session focuses on tightening technique, elevating endurance, and sharpening mindset, ensuring Paul enters the ring fully prepared for the toughest test of his career and approaching the moment with absolute focus and determination.
Time to shock the world, baby. Time to shock the world again. You motherfucking sauce.
Jake Paul's training camp leading into his clash with Anthony Joshua shows a degree of commitment most people never recognize. His coach says much of the grind and sacrifice Jake puts in remains unseen. Endless hours in the gym, relentless conditioning work, and razor-sharp focus on technique form the foundation fans rarely witness. His coach stresses that the public often underestimates the preparation demanded to compete at the elite tier, especially against someone of Joshua's caliber. Jake's dedication is absolute. Physical fatigue and mental pressure define his routine. Still, he pushes through every session with resolve, revealing a focus that rises far beyond hype during his most demanding hours daily.
Realize how much is sacrificed in the camp, and Jake sacrificed a lot to get ready for the last fight on top of releasing the new brand W. And so he needed a break. And so we took a month off, got right back in there, and now we're getting ready for Mike. And we're not as heavy as we were before, which is a plus for us. I didn't want us to go back up, but you can guarantee he's to be ready to fight. I think in the last 6 weeks, you've seen Jake slowly tighten himself up and get himself prepared, and he's really locked in now. So what we've been able to see is Jake evolve into the gladiator. He's slowly evolving into the gladiator that he has to become for fight night. About time he finishes the camp and goes through everything he needs to go through, by that night, he'll be fully prepared. His outer shell that he needs to be able to go in there and be the gladiator for the night, he'll have that ready. And that's what you see happening now. That's the process in which we're in now.
Every part of Jake Paul's training is designed around one mission: beating a former world champion. Analysts point out that Jake's mental preparation is just as crucial as the physical grind. He visualizes every possible scenario, anticipates pressure moments, and tailors each session to build confidence while fixing any weaknesses. This mental conditioning keeps him calm under fire and ready to execute without hesitation when everything is on the line. Jake's psychological discipline reflects a level of growth developed over multiple fights, proving he has moved far beyond the label of a social media star trying to box.
Built for this. Enjoy the process, enjoy the moment. When it's over, I'm gonna be missing these moments.
145. Let's go, buddy. Stand.
Sparring partners are a central part of Jake Paul's preparation, and people inside his camp say he constantly challenges himself against seasoned boxers, often outworking them, beating them, and sending them home, a clear reminder of how serious he is. But preparing for Anthony Joshua is different. For the first time, Jake is facing sparring partners who genuinely match Joshua's size, reach, and power, creating the closest simulation to what he'll face on fight night. According to those observing his sessions, this is exactly what Jake wants. Opponents who push him harder, force him to adjust quickly, and expose every weakness so he can correct it. These intense rounds help Jake refine his defense under pressure, sharpen his movement, and test offensive combinations that could be crucial against a heavyweight of Joshua's caliber. Each sparring session becomes a battlefield that prepares him mentally and physically, bringing him one step closer to being fully ready for the toughest challenge of his career.
You're training with Jake Paul, when that was, how much sparring you did with him.
So training with Jake Paul, I got to understand how he was as a fighter. He was new into the boxing. You know, he was developing at a very quick rate. This guy trained his ass off. Like, we would spar twice a week in the hot ass gym in Puerto Rico. I don't wish that on my worst enemy. Dude, when I tell you Jake was beating up all these professional boxers who was sparring them, it was just one of those like, bro, he was whooping their ass and sending them home. That same night he told everybody bluntly, I'm sending you and home. Only person saying he's this guy Anthony. And he was like, the reason why, because this motherfucker's coming here and giving me work that I need. None of y'all is giving me the work y'all need.
Tony Jeff, a respected boxing trainer, underscores the unmatched intensity of Jake Paul's current camp. He explains that this isn't a typical preparation. It mirrors the kind of training usually reserved for Olympic-level athletes. Paul is using cutting-edge technology, highly specialized conditioning methods, and fully personalized coaching that targets every component of performance. The goal isn't just building strength, but increasing speed, sharpening endurance, and honing technical precision, creating a complete elite-level training system. Jeff points out that this approach allows Jake to adapt quickly, react sharper, and gain an early competitive edge once the fight starts. Unlike traditional camps that might emphasize a single area, Jake's program is balanced and comprehensive, making him well-rounded and ready for the complex challenges Anthony Joshua will present. The intensity, detail, and sophistication of this environment reflect Paul's absolute commitment to competing and succeeding at the highest level.
Great strength training for explosive power, slamming that ball against the wall and rotating, just like you'd be throwing a hook. You see there, he's caught it, he's pulled it back, turning into it, boom. We also see he's getting in the ice bath here. Now, ice baths is not just good for recovery, helping with the inflammation in your body after what you've been putting it through, but it's also good for the mental side of things. Because when you go in an ice bath, everything in your mind is saying, get out of here, what are you doing? So you've got to get past that part of your mind that's telling you that and, push through it. So it's great for your mindset as well. Now, one more thing I just want to add with Jake Paul's training before I give you a recap on it. We always see him training. Look, he's got like a group of people around him. There's cameramen there, there's coaches there, all spurring him on. Now, boxing is normally a very lonely sport. When you're in the gym, it's normally you and your coach. Unless you're dealing with a group of people, it's harder for you to get the one-on-one attention that you need. So when you're fighting as a pro, when I was fighting as a pro, it was often just me and my coach. Sometimes there will be another guy in there as well. Sometimes my dad would come, which really helped push me through the session. But when my friends did ever come, maybe one session here and there, that spurred me on even more to get the most out of us. As we see here, he's got people around him all the time. Cameramen, coaches, friends, strength and conditioning coaches, his boxing coach, and he's just his full team around him who's getting paid. What that does is help the fighter, in this case Jake, get more out of the sessions rather than being there by himself, which I think is great. When I was training for the Olympics, we had that sort of support around us and it was amazing. But when I turned pro, that went out the window because you've got to pay for that support. So now my final thoughts on Jake Paul's boxing training. There isn't anything I can pull apart here. Everything he's done.
Dan Rafael, a veteran boxing analyst, acknowledges the significant growth Jake Paul has shown since his fight with Tommy Fury. He points to noticeable improvements in technique, stamina, and tactical awareness, emphasizing that Paul now has a deeper, more refined understanding of in-ring dynamics. At the same time, Rafael warns that despite this progress, the challenge presented by Anthony Joshua is on an entirely different level. Paul's evolution proves he is capable of learning, adapting, and maturing as a fighter. But the real test will be whether he can apply those lessons flawlessly under the immense pressure of facing a former unified heavyweight champion. Rafael's assessment strikes a balance between optimism and realism, recognizing Paul's development while noting the magnitude of the task ahead. Meanwhile, the host of the Wade Concept offers a more psychological analysis of Paul's mindset, cautioning that self-belief, while essential in combat sports, can sometimes drift into denial. He expresses concern that Paul might be nearing that line, placing too much trust in his confidence rather than fully acknowledging the danger posed by Joshua's experience and knockout power. The host stresses that entering the ring with unchecked bravado can be risky, reinforcing the need for realistic preparation and mental clarity. His perspective highlights that psychological resilience must go hand in hand with strategic discipline if Paul hopes to withstand the toughest challenge of his career.
Well, but he's actively like, yes, I am going to knock out AJ. And in any other timeline, we'd all point and laugh. And some people still are pointing and laughing, but I'm just sitting here going, what has he seen that makes him believe that? Not only of what's happened to AJ, sure, he's been knocked out by Daniel Dubois, another 240-pound champion of the world, but what has he seen in himself that makes him think he's going to knock out AJ when he hasn't knocked out anyone since Mike Perry? And Mike Perry, as we know, is not a high-level boxer. He hasn't knocked out a high-level boxer. He could hurt Julio Cesar Chavez, but Chavez knew to cover up and not engage. Maybe he thinks AJ will engage with him, and AJ does do some bad things in the pocket. Again, we'll save it for another video, but the only thing I can think of, and I said it at the beginning of this video, is Jake is absolutely delusional, and he's convinced himself of what's going to happen based on very outlying data, right? The Daniel Dubois knockout, how he struggled with Usyk.
Hey,
Who are you fighting, when, and why?
I'm fighting Anthony Joshua because I'm fucking him.
What?
I'm fighting Anthony Joshua because I'm him.
Holy shit! Just let me take a second. Is this motherfucker out of
Dude,
his
it's
mind?
light work. Light work. Well, at least my good old friend Tyson Fury believes that I can win.
If Jake Paul fights Anthony Joshua, I'm putting £1 million on Jake Paul. I want some free money.
Smart man, Tyson.
I need to see a bet slip, Tyson. I know you got it like that these days. $1 million's like a, like a slight 10,000 to the rest of us, or maybe 1,000 after those couple of title fights with Alexander Usyk. But I need to see the bet slip. I saw the line when, and this is kind of crazy, I saw the line when the fight first got made, and we put it in the video. Jake was plus 800 to win. Jake has now moved to plus 650 to win. That's outright. I don't know by knockout, I'm not sure, but plus 800 was already like, okay, that's, that's a big underdog. And Joshua was like minus 1,500, but now Joshua's at minus 1,250 and Jake's at plus 650. This line is closing, and I'm wondering why. What are people seeing?
Make no mistake, this is the biggest fight of my career. I'm walking into the lion's den. I'm doing something that no one else has ever done before. I, Jake Joseph Paul, will knock out, defeat, and embarrass Anthony Joshua Friday, December 19th, live on Netflix. My voice cracked, I'm still going through puberty. The biggest fight of 2025. USA versus UK. He's got the belts, the size, the history, but I have the balls. Be careful what you wish for. Jake versus Joshua. Judgment Day. He has a 90% knockout ratio, but I have a 100% chance of drinking this Celsius.
Okay, there we go. Ads only. Yeah, I mean, having balls is good when it comes to making a fight like this, when it comes to, putting yourself out there and again, just operating on self-belief, but it isn't going to win Jake this fight. Him being ballsy is not going to win him this fight. Like, him making the decision to take this fight is ballsy. And we can all say it, and we have said it, and I feel like it's starting to become a thing where it's like, that's the only thing we're saying. I feel like everybody is just pointing out that Jake has big balls for doing this, and that's a ballsy move. And that's correct, but we established that already. So now let's talk about the fight itself. What about Jake's ballsiness is going to win him this fight? The fact that he wants to throw, the fact that he'll mix it up, that may be the worst thing that Jake could do is mix it up with Anthony Joshua, because again, you get into 50-50s with a guy that can crack like he can, 90% finish rate. He'll put you on the canvas. He's done it to so many other heavyweights. And yes, AJ sometimes is the one that gets clipped in exchanges like that, with the left hook especially, but we'll do a more...
Former champion Carl Froch underscores just how high the stakes are for both fighters as they approach this showdown. He points out that Anthony Joshua's legacy hangs in the balance, with any misstep likely to trigger intense scrutiny from fans, analysts, and the media. Joshua cannot afford another setback, and every moment in the ring will be judged with the highest expectations. On the other side, Jake Paul's rapidly rising profile depends on proving that he can face a legitimate, elite-level professional opponent and still emerge as a credible figure in the eyes of boxing purists. Froch frames the matchup as a defining crossroads for both men, a moment where reputation, skill, and long-term career direction collide. According to Froch, this fight is far more than a physical contest. It's a test of psychological stability, consistency, and the ability to remain composed under extreme pressure. Every round will reveal something about their character and their capacity to perform when everything is on the line. the implications ripple far beyond a single night's result. The outcome will influence how both fighters are viewed for years to come, shaping narratives about their legitimacy, resilience, and place in the sport.
Fake Paul is not a step in the direction of becoming world champion again. There's many people who could box. He's not going to make that kind of money. So let's just be honest with anybody else. So let's just be straight up honest about it. He's doing it all for the money. It's all about the money. I did say a year ago when he got splattered by Daniel Dubois that he's finished in boxing, he needs to retire. That's just my opinion. That's just my truth. I think he's done in heavyweight boxing at an elite competitive level. So that makes sense. I've been vindicated. He's now fighting Fake Paul in what will be a massive mismatch. If this is correct and it's 10-ounce gloves in a professional boxing rules, 8 3-minute rounds, it's not going to go 2 rounds, is it? It shouldn't do. It shouldn't last a round. But we're going to have to wait and see, aren't we? It's hard to get your head around. It's hard to know what to say about this. AJ's obviously excited about it, about making some serious bunts. And Jake Paul's telling us that he's going to shut all the haters up by jumping in there with AJ. So what is actually going off? We're not going to know, are we, until the fight actually, till the first bell goes. We're not going to know what's actually behind all this. And we can't start throwing accusations of any sort of skullduggery going off, because we've got to take it at face value. It's not an exhibition, so nothing's pre-scripted. This is a professional boxing match that you can make bets on. So it's got to be a real fight. And if AJ goes in there with them little 10-ounce gloves on and throws the Ngannou 1-2 down the middle, I'm talking about the one that rendered Ngannou unconscious and almost snapped his leg. And Ngannou's a decent fighter in the cage. You know, he's a good MMA fighter, and you saw him, he took Tyson Fury, what did he take him, 8, 9, was it 10 rounds? Can't remember how long it was, but he took him the distance and lost a close decision. So he's quite capable, but AJ's a big punching heavyweight. And fake.
Boxing analyst Joey Knight emphasizes the commercial strategy driving Jake Paul's decision to pursue a fight with Anthony Joshua. Knight explains that Paul understands the enormous global attention and financial impact that comes with facing a high-profile, former heavyweight champion. By choosing Joshua, Paul guarantees massive media coverage, heightened fan interest, and revenue potential far beyond what most fighters at his stage could ever access. This isn't just about competition. It's about positioning himself at the center of the sport's biggest conversations. Knight points out that Paul's approach blends athletic preparation with sharp business instincts. In modern boxing, success isn't determined solely by what happens inside the ring. It's also shaped by timing, opponent selection, marketing, and public visibility. Paul's choice reflects a calculated balance between sporting ambition and commercial opportunity. According to Knight, these strategic layers are essential in today's boxing landscape, where financial considerations often weigh just as heavily as competitive goals in determining a fighter's trajectory.
A lot of cash, maybe not as much as the Anthony Joshua fight, but a lot of cash, and can still have a serious chance of going on to earn even more paydays. Whereas the damage that it could do to his body could be irreversible for that opportunity to earn money in a boxing career going forward. So is this the retirement bag, or do you actually think you can win? Because I read a study recently, and I believe it said something along the lines of men overemphasize or overcalculate their ability to fight by about 500 times. And I'm saying Jake Paul would probably need to be 500 times better to stand a chance against Anthony Joshua. And I can't get how he doesn't already know this. Surely he has sparred with heavyweights. Surely the recent sparring that he had with the likes of Shakur Stevenson and with the likes of Ray Ford, amongst others, Badou Jack, surely that would have taught you that there are levels to boxing. And if these small guys are able to show you things that you had no idea that you were vulnerable to in a boxing ring, what happens when someone who hits 4, 5, 6 times as hard as that does the exact same thing to you and lands it on your chin? The whole reason of why I know where I am in the influencer boxing scene, in the misfit scene, is because of the level that I have sparred at. I've sparred boys that have gone on to box for world titles. I've sparred with English champions, and I've sparred with
Legendary ring announcer Michael Buffer highlights the cultural impact the Paul brothers have had on modern boxing, noting that Jake and Logan have successfully pulled an entirely new generation into the sport. He explains that their presence has energized the boxing world, drawing in younger fans who might never have paid attention otherwise. Buffer credits their talent for storytelling, their ability to build hype, and their unmatched media influence for creating massive anticipation around every event they touch. According to Buffer, the Paul brothers' blend of athletic commitment and strategic branding has helped revive mainstream interest in boxing. Their crossover appeal and digital reach have expanded the sport's audience far beyond traditional circles, proving that in today's landscape, star power and narrative building can amplify boxing's visibility just as much as in-ring performance.
Jake and Logan, first of all, are fantastic athletes. You know, what Logan does with the WWE and what Jake does with boxing, knocks people out and everything. And they both have massive fan bases. And for me, it's great to see people get young people that follow them that didn't have, like, they don't remember Ali or Joe Frazier or whatever. It's not in their wheelhouse. So it's great to see them developing fight fans and a big fight atmosphere.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned. Until next time, stay sharp.